Howdy, 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 folks. Today we're going to be talking about which Vanguard is right for you. Little intro. I'm Heimdall. Hope everybody's having a great day or evening or weekend. That'd be great. We're currently on day 4 of the 2953 Invictus week. This is day 2 of Aegis. Here in just a couple of hours, Aegis is going to move out. Anvil's going to move in. Let's talk about some of my upcoming projects. Later on today or possibly tomorrow morning, I'll be dropping another video, a Hornet buyer's guide. I'm also working on a single seat fighter comparison. Maybe help some folks decide which single seat fighter is best for them. I'm also going to be releasing soon a mining guide for how to mine with a prospector in 319. I'm really excited for Drake to have their big part of the event here in a few days. And then it's the first time I'm going to hint at it. Me and a fellow streamer, real good friend of mine, Dirty Red, are working on a secret project that I think you guys will be excited and enjoy once it comes out. It's going to be a series, and I think you folks are really going to enjoy that. All right, so that's the admin stuff out of the way. Let's start digging in here. So, as you can see, there are 4 different variants of the Vanguard. I personally only own the Harbinger, which is the one on the far right. They're all very similar, but they're all also quite unique from each other for the most part. I like to start with cost, just so folks know right away, what's in their budget, what's not. The cheapest to buy with in real life money is the Hoplight, which currently right now is retailing for $235 on the RSI website. Next up is the Warden, which is the second one there, the real dark colored one. That's $260. Then we get to the Sentinel, which is $275. It's the blue and gold. And then last is the Harbinger, which is my personal favorite of the bunch, and it retails for $290. I don't think, none of the Vanguards are always available, so they're during events only for sale normally. In game, you can get. We'll start from the bottom and work our way up again. In game, the Sentinel is the cheapest at just over 2,012,000 Alpha UEC. Then the Harbinger, which is 2,050,500 Alpha UEC. Then the Hoplight, which is 3,104,200 Alpha UEC. And last is the Warden, which is 3,387,800 Alpha UEC. By the way, if it's not a sale event and you want to try one of these ships before you buy it in game or just in general, the only one that's rentable is the Warden, and I'm fairly certain the only place you can rent it is Vantage Rentals in Loreville. As far as the hard stats of these ships, they're all fairly comparable. The base full HP of them is 42,400 with the exception of the Harbinger, which has 42,900 hull HP. The shields are a little funny because the Sentinel actually has the most shielding at 19,800. The Harbinger has the least at 14,200, and then the Warden and the Hoplite are tied at 18,000. Base DPS is a little funny. I'm going to spit these out, and then when I actually get to breaking down each of the individual ships in a minute, I think it'll make a little more sense. The Sentinel only has 603 stock DPS. The Harbinger has 2,186. The Hoplight, 3,672. And the Warden, 2,031. Keep in mind, though, that is completely stock. That is with nothing changed. As far as SCM and max speeds, they are all tied except for the Warden. So the Sentinel, Harbinger, and Hoplite have a SCM speed of 171 meters a second and a max speed of 1,022 meters a second. The Warden, oddly enough, has a SCM speed of 169 meters a second, but a maximum speed of 1,116 meters a second. Some of the commonalities are all of them share a very flexible loadout option. There's a size 5 hardpoint. In fact, if you look, most of them, I'm fairly certain all of them stock have a size. They all have the size 5 point, but they all come with a size 5 gimbal mounting a size 4 gun. I actually take that gimbal off and put a size 5 Gatling on because I'm crazy. You'll also notice, though, those 4 nose guns. So they all have those 4 nose guns. You can't gimbal them. It's one of the reasons I take the gimbal off. That way they're all shooting at the same target. And they all have slightly different weapons loadout stock. All of them feature multi-crew gameplay. You'll notice they all have that top turret. You can have someone run a turret. And in the Sentinel, for sure, and I believe in the Warden, I can't remember. Let's go peek in there. There's an engineering station. I know the Sentinel has it. Can't believe I forgot to write that in my outline. Sorry about that, folks. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. There it is. So just a little engineering station. It's not super important right now, but when the engineering gameplay is introduced here pretty soon, that's just, I think, going to be a neat little thing. They all have an interior space. Now, they don't have a cargo grid, but you can load, like, let's say you're out doing bounties and you kill something crazy and it's got some cool guns you want to take back. You can get them in there. It's going to be a interesting fit, but it is possible. One thing I do want to mention is the ramps can be kind of a pain to get to drop sometimes. So if you're wanting to use the Hoplight for, actual insertions, practice with it a little bit. Have the folks that are going to be hopping in and out practice opening that ramp, because there's an angle you got to approach it, and if you don't hit it, it is not going to do anything. Something I really do want to point out is, yes, these are classed as fighters, but they are heavy fighters. So these are not going to, turn and burn with arrows and gladiuses. That's not their mission. That's not their design. They are not maneuverable when you compare them to single seat fighters. However, they fly about like a Cutlass Black. So if you're fighting medium ships and up, you're going to have at least comparable maneuverability to what you're fighting. And because they're lighter, you're going to be able to boost out if you're in trouble, recharge your shields. There's a lot of options for how you fight with these ships that aren't necessarily available to smaller ships, but you also have to remember that they're not small fighters. These are medium. They're classed as heavies, but you want to think of them as medium fighters, and that they're, well, heavy fighter actually kind of works. A little caveat: or segue for a second. These ships remind me a lot of P-38s. You know, the classic World War II fighters, the Lightnings. And it's got those twin tail booms, the way the cockpit's designed. I love that. And honestly, if you've played any flight sim games with World War II style combat and you've flown a P-38, the tactics are very similar. If you can drop in on your target, the ship's going to work really well. Drop in, unload, scoot out if you didn't kill a target, rinse and repeat. But it takes a little practice to use these effectively, especially if you're coming from small single-seat fighters into them. Alright, let's get into the individuals. So we're going to start with the Sentinel here. The Sentinel is an EMP support ship. It comes with 4 distortion repeaters on the nose and then 2 distortion repeaters up on the turret. The EMP is pretty effective. Something to remember about this ship, and keep in mind for all of these comparisons and all of the advice I'm giving today, it's all based on stock loadouts. But a Sentinel stock is going to struggle to take down targets on its own, just because it's pretty much only running distortions. It's possible, and once again, as I've said in many of my other videos, there are pilots who are amazing at doing anything you want to think about. There's people out there that can do it in any ship. It's crazy. But that's not everybody. So you want to keep in mind, if you're buying a Vanguard because you want to go blow ships up, the Sentinel's probably not the one you want. Now, if you switch out those distortions to laser repeaters or even ballistics, that changes it. But stock, the Sentinel is really going to struggle to actually destroy ships. However, it is going to be very effective at disabling them. So, if you're flying a Sentinel and you have a buddy flying something that dishes out more genuine damage, and you work together, that can be a very effective combination. We're going to move on over to the Harbinger. Keep in mind, the guns you're seeing on here and the missiles are not stock, because I really love this ship. This is one of my own ships. I like to think of this as a Eclipse that can actually fight. Yes, the Eclipse has larger torpedoes, but for the Eclipse, once it's shot its torpedoes, it's got to leave. Especially if it didn't get the kill, it's got to leave and come back or go somewhere else, because it can't fight. Whereas the Harbinger very much can. Stock, it comes with all ballistic cannons. I do recommend changing those, just because ballistic cannons, yes, they deal massive amounts of damage, but they take a lot of practice to get down, and then also there's not a lot of ammo for them. So if you don't get your kill in a few passes, you're not going to be able to defend yourself. You're going to have to bail anyways. For all of the variants of the Vanguard, this feels the most flexible, having those torpedoes, not having any of the other extra stuff that some of the other ships have. Alright, the Hoplight. The Hoplight's interesting. It's a dropship variant. It has 6 passenger seats. I do want to point out, currently in 319, the dropship seats seem to be bugged, and they don't want to open or let you sit in them sometimes. I don't know if that's just happened to us the last few times we've tried to use one, but the Hoplight has the highest stock DPS, but it's all ballistic repeaters, so it's kind of the same issue you're going to run into with the Harbinger stock. Is there's not there's not a lot of ammo on them to begin with. So I would personally change those out for laser repeaters. If you're doing PvP, don't listen to anything I'm saying, because ballistics are king. There's just no way around it. Ballistics and distortions. But if you're trying to run bounties or do PvE events, or just be out for a while without having to constantly go back and rearm, I would change those out. I want to like the Hoplight. I mean, I like the paint job, but at the moment with the drop ship seats, boy, that is a mouthful right there. With the drop ship seats not working correctly, it feels like a ship that does not have a niche to fill, especially to justify its cost. I mean, in game, it's the second most expensive of them. And there's just way better options. If I'm having to do a dropship type thing, I'm probably just going to take a Cutlass Black, because all the same functionality and a vehicle. I just feel like the Hoplight right now is superfluous. And keep in mind, I'm not trying to judge anyone's purchase. If you've got a Hoplight and you love it, that is awesome. More power to you. I'm just trying to look at this objectively. Alright, the last of them is the Warden. Now, the Warden is a pure heavy fighter. It has pretty good stock DPS. It's got the 4 laser cannons on the nose. Once again, I would recommend switching those over to repeaters, but that is just a personal preference thing. My only real knock on the Warden is that it feels overpriced in game. Like I can't see how that is, 1.25 times more valuable than the Harbinger or even the Sentinel. And it's a great ship. I like them, but if I've only got 3.5 million AUEC to spend that I've been saving up, I'm probably not going to buy the Warden. I'm probably going to buy either a Sentinel or a Harbinger, just for the extra functionality. Alright, let's talk about some of the loadout options. So, you can do the loadouts the same on all of them. You can switch out turret guns. They've all got size 4 missile points. They all have the 4 nose guns and then the nose turret chin mount. I like to run the AD5B ballistic Gatling on the chin mount, and then for the nose guns I run GVSR laser repeaters. That gives me 2,744 DPS. And what's nice is that I don't have to waste my Gatling ammo on smaller targets. I can just focus on them with the repeaters, and then when it's time to go after larger targets, I can start burning up with both. I switch out all the racks for 442 racks so that I can run 16 Rattler 2s. I really like this ship. I mean, I wouldn't use it as a first choice for PvP, but it can handle its own. And if you've got someone in the turret, it is very difficult to take down. Oh, speaking of the turret, I have two size 3 Panthers on the turret. And that gives my gunners like 400 rounds between charges. I'm going to be posting a link to the website I use to test out different loadouts. It's called urkel.games. That'll be in the description below. Some personal opinions about the ships in general is I think the Harbinger is the best for solo play. If you pair a Sentinel with any single seat fighter, that becomes a really tough combination for anyone to overpower. I think the Hoplight is going to be better. Like I said earlier, at the moment there's just no niche, and it kind of makes it feel a bit overpriced. The Warden kind of suffers the same as the Hoplight, in that I think once 4.0 comes out and we have access to pyro and those much longer distances we're going to have to travel, the Warden's going to be a much better option. But right now, much like the Hoplite, it doesn't really have its niche, and there's just way better options at that price point for what's available to us in Stanton at the moment. That's been my video going over the Vanguard series. Like I said earlier, keep an eye out. We're going to have a similar type video for the Hornet, either later today or possibly tomorrow. I just wanted to say to all the folks that have been watching, my subscriber count has tripled in a week and a half, and I know that that's not a huge number to a lot of folks, but for me that is amazing. I appreciate every one of you guys taking the time to watch these videos. Hit that like, subscribe button, all of the comments. I genuinely appreciate it. I'm trying to work on the apparently there's a high-pitched sound going on in the background in some of my videos. I'm trying to isolate that and fix it, but I'm also doing this on not even a shoestring budget, like a shoe thread budget, because I'm a family man. I've got other responsibilities I've got to take care of too. But as soon as I get that fixed, that is not going to be an issue anymore, and I am actively working on it. I was putting off making more videos, but I didn't want to go a full week without them, so I went ahead and I'm making these for you guys right now. If you like what I'm doing and you haven't subscribed yet, please do hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell icon, get notified what's going on. If you have anything you want to say about some of my more contentious videos, because I know a lot of folks love these ships, please feel free, hit me up in the comments. If I left anything out, throw them in there too. I want to make great videos. I want to make videos that are informative. So also, if you didn't like what I'm doing, hey, that's cool, man. Do me a favor though, before you hit the dislike button, hit the comments, take 10 seconds, tell me where I lost you, and I'll work from there. I want to make content that's enjoyable. I'm really enjoying doing this. This is the most fun I've had with games in years. I really love this game. I really love the community that's around it. I love you viewers, and I love all y'all are doing. Oh, my guy's telling me it's time to cut it short. Thanks for watching, and I can't wait to see you folks out there in the verse.